really came about by the work that JR and his group was doing. There was a group of people that were really active in English Station, which is behind us, which is a Superfund site. It's an old coal-fired power plant that's currently being remediated by the state, that sits on an island right in the middle of the Mill River. And then our work was kind of, how do we improve water quality in the Mill River with the goal of also improving access. And so the first section that came up here was the Mill River Trail. And this is where you need to have a really good creative mind. So our plan, which is now officially fully funded and ready to go to construction, thanks to several funders that have come together, including Partners for Places, the Community Foundation, and then the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection Special Environmental Projects Program. We have money to convert this beautiful dead-end street into a park, with the idea being that behind the boulders we're going to rip up all of the pavement and turn it into a bioretention area, which is basically just a series of gardens that are sunk in the ground a little bit, and it'll capture the stormwater. And it gives the water a chance, anything being carried in the stormwater, a chance to filter out by the plants and soak into the ground and go into the river via ground rather than surface flow. And where we're standing is actually still part of a combined sewer system, which is an old sewer system that a lot of cities across the U.S. have seen, where when stormwater and sanitary sewers were first being thought about, they were thought of as one big pipe, with the idea that rivers took away anything that we didn't want. So the sewage and stormwater all go into one pipe. So during normal weather events, that means the water goes to the wastewater treatment plant, but during a big rainstorm, anything being carried in that pipe overflows into the Sound or the river, and in this case, the Mill River. So the idea is that this park will not only serve as an access point for the community, an access point to the Mill River Trail, and where we hope to actually connect to the river on the other side of the salt pile. Like I said, you need a really good imagination here. So if we're looking through the salt pile, we're about 100 feet from the river itself. So we're not that far. There's water right there that could easily be accessed by the community with a little bit of creativity and hard work. So this point will serve as a trailhead that will connect north and south, and also have clean water benefits. And this project, beyond its English Station and what this trail actually means, for anyone who's not familiar with Fairhaven, it really has a long sordid history. At the turn of the century, the city didn't really think about Fairhaven as a resource. It was really designed as an industrial area. We had two rivers where things could easily come in and out of the city.
Which turn of the century?
I'm sorry, that's a really great question.
Previous.
It's the turn of the 20th century, the early 1900s. And this was really an industrial area. And planning really thought of it as an industrial area. In the early 1900s, in 1910, Olmsted and Gilbert put together a plan for the city that looked at greenways and how to expand green spaces across New Haven, among other things. And in that plan, it purposely omits Fairhaven. Fairhaven was the nexus of the railroad, of the water-dependent uses in the industries, and was only suitable for housing of industrial workers, is what it says in the plan, which was really kind of that first start of segregation of the Fairhaven community. And as the city and society has evolved and actually thought about thinking of these places and thinking about the people that live in them not as commodities and workers, but as actual human beings and actual places, the environmental justice movement, which is a hot button issue right now and a word that people hear a lot, has really come to the forefront of both planning and recreation efforts. And I wrote down the definition because I think we talk about environmental justice a lot, but we don't always know what it means. So in 1993, which is really not that long ago, Connecticut established a definition for environmental justice. It says, no segment of the population should, because of its racial, ethnic, economic status, bear a disproportionate share of the risk and consequences of environmental pollution or be denied equal access to environmental benefits. And I think where we're standing right now, really embodies what that definition is. It's an area that we have a school, we have people in an active playing field, but it was really always thought of as just industrial land. So how can we expand that and improve benefits to these communities and connection from other parts of the city as we move forward?
Can you say a word about the salt pads for those who don't know?
Oh, absolutely. So there are two salt salt piles on the Mill River. The first being the one right behind us, which is a small salt pile in comparison to what's across the river. It wanes in height from high to low and blocking the vision. And it's not used for salt by the communities. It has no benefit in New Haven. The salt is shipped in and out through the salt pile and distributed to other places across the state. And so our hope is that someday we'll be able to work with the landowners and acquire easements, which are historically there between the river and the properties along that kind of first 10 feet inland to create access through there. And then on the other side, which the salt pile extends, there's an even bigger salt pile, which you can see where the crane is, and it's currently uncovered. And that is used for cement purposes. So there's a salt pile and a sand pile behind it that's used by the concrete company across the street.